Devlin. Obviously, Ben
Well,
Doak gets the nod as well.
He's desperately short of options, isn't he? Especially defensively. So, good luck to Nicky Devlin. He's one of these guys, and I think I was down at Hampden for that press conference today, and Steve Clarke said, look, he has got a history of bringing, guys that maybe some people would have thought they missed the boat. And he highlighted, obviously, Andy Considine as being one of them. So, it's testament to Nicky Devlin, who's just one of these kind of hang your hat on guys. Okay, I think he wouldn't get in the squad under ordinary circumstances, but there is a lack of options there. Liam Lindsay at Preston comes in as well. I don't expect either of these guys to start. I think there would need to be a COVID outbreak within the camp for it to get to that point. But it's good to have them around. They'll enjoy the experience, and Clarke could get the chance to see them in close quarters. And there's also Andy Irving, formerly of Hearts, now at West Ham. He's gone a long and varied route to get to make it into the Scotland squad. But that's great for him as well. And it is good that Steve Clarke will get the chance to train with these guys, see what they look like. But I don't imagine that any of them will be troubling his initial selection. I think that there are difficult situations for the manager to resolve because of a lack of options. And, we are getting a spate of injuries now. And this is probably the worst one that we've had for a long time under Steve Clarke. But you keep as close to the core as you possibly can. You've got Scott McTominay, you've got Billy Gilmour. These guys are being lauded in Napoli right now. They come, into this, they must be feeling superb about themselves, especially a guy like McTominay, who kept getting told he wasn't good enough at Man United. They want to build a team around him in Napoli now. Yeah. Antonio Conte, who has stuck rigidly to a 5-man defence for as long as I can recall, has ripped up his favourite formation for one reason and one reason only, to try and get both of these guys, and McTominay in particular, into starting 11. And where's he playing them? In the exact same position that Steve Clarke was playing Scott McTominay. So what's that tell you?
Exactly. Aye.
So I think McTominay, Billy Gilmour hasn't quite made the same dramatic impact over there, but he did play in a Coppa Italia match last week, I think. He'll fit into that system. He'll take to that like a duck to water, because it is all about possession football. Billy Gilmour will make a name for himself there, I've no doubt about it. But then you think about it, you've got your trailblazers like Lewis Ferguson, Aaron Hickey, you've got Shea Adams there just now, you've got Josh Doig, albeit in Serie B. But you're looking now at a situation which you would never have thought possible, with all these Scottish internationals playing in the top league of Italian football. Yeah. I've got a new name for it. I'm going to call it Tartanaccio. And I think that if we can plug into this, I think it is. This feels like a fresh start, and it feels like it's had to be a fresh start because the Euros were such a disappointment. Steve Clarke is aware of that. He's not a daft guy. He's realised he needed to come back with something fresh, something that feels a bit new, something that might enthuse the fans and get everybody back on board. He's tweaked the system. He's went to a back four. We have looked bolder and more aggressive. Okay, 2 defeats against Poland and Portugal. There might be more defeats to come because this group was horrendously difficult. Yeah. But if we see signs of the development of a new, fresh-looking Scotland, then here's the lights going out again. Maybe that's quite fitting. If we can see those signs, if the fans see these signs, if the team performs to a similar level, and you've got all these new guys who are going into a new chapter in their career, your Shea Adams, McTominay, Billy Gilmour, I'm quite excited about it, and I'm quite excited to see how the team grows, because this feels potentially like the next stage in the development.
Yeah, well, you put some money in the Lecky meter, Keith. I'll hit you with some comments from people watching at home. Jim,
it's embarrassing, isn't
it? Jim here.
Devlin, I think we should explain to people, Daniel, that this is actually the future.
Aye, that's it.
It's an eco-friendly office, and if it doesn't detect movement, then it just plunges you into darkness. So that's why every
state of the art
to run about doing the chicken and doing a lap around the editorial floor.
Well, Jim here on Facebook saying Devlin deserves his call-up. He's been stand at right back in the league so far this year. needs to start over the ponderous Ralston as well. It hasn't gone down well, though, with Andy Smith, who says just another case of the old pals act with Steve Clarke. And of course, Keith, we haven't actually mentioned yet, Craig Gordon's back in the squad. Tony Meakin. Gordon's still a top-class keeper with plenty of experience, good decision. And Stephen Thompson, great call-up. Gordon's experience will help, and he's still a great keeper. Would you have brought Gordon back, Keith?
I just got a message there from Daily Record columnist Barry Ferguson, who says, I prefer it with the lights out.
You've never looked so good.
Yeah, that's perhaps the future. Craig Gordon, by the way, I think he might have a shot at not just coming in to fill a seat on the bench. I think of all the things, there has been progress. Angus Gunn has had a really difficult ride recently over the last 12 months.
Very difficult. Aye.
And he's, I think, been guilty of letting in a couple of goals that I'm not sure he would have let in when he first came into the scene and into the setup, when he looked really safe hand. I wonder if Craig Gordon goes in here and gets a clean slate and they look at him and they just judge him now on who looks the best on the training pitch.
It sounds a bit mad, Keith, right? Considering he'll be almost 43, I think, by the time
like 41 just now.
Aye, so by the time we're maybe going to the World Cup, 43, I still think I'd have Craig Gordon as number one. I know that's a bit out there. I just think Angus Gunn's form for Scotland has dropped off a cliff at times.
I think Angus Gunn has had a little bit of a confidence problem lately.
Yeah.
Having said that, look at the way he ended the game in Portugal. Right? Okay, he conceded a bad goal, but he made incredible couple of saves towards the end of that game.
Yeah.
And exactly what you're looking for in a Scotland keeper, because we know our goalkeeper's going to have to make saves that you kind of wonder how that was physically possible.
Yeah.
That's what Scotland keepers have to do. You can't just be a steady 6, 7 out of 10 guy. You need to make the saves that no one expects. Angus Gunn has been guilty of not doing that for a while, but then had a very strong kind of second half in Portugal. Certainly ended towards the end of the match, pulled off a couple of miraculous saves in really hectic situations. But I just feel as if this is a moment. Craig Gordon comes back in. He's got 75 caps. I don't know if Angus Gunn can rest on his laurels and think, well, I'm the number one here. I think it might be really interesting for the coaching staff to take a look at both guys on the training pitch and work out from there who looks the best bet.
And to be fair as well, just to finish in Gordon, that Finland game before the Euros, when it looked like he was given a kind of unofficial goodbye, Gordon, as you say, 41, could have easily, waved goodbye, cheers, appreciate it. But I love the attitude that he's not going to retire. If Scotland need him, if Scotland want him, he's available. I absolutely love that. I love that about him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's because most fans would feel like that, wouldn't they?
Aye,
if you thought if there was ever a chance of playing for Scotland, you would never actually decide to hang up your boots, or in Craig Gordon's case, his gloves, and say that I don't want to be considered for selection. You would keep on going till your legs fell off.